Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I am giving myself 30 days to see how much money I can earn doing the 30-day minimalism game. I've done this challenge twice before, once in 2020 and once in 2021, where I actually did it all in one day. I think it's time to take on this challenge again. It's going to be so much harder because I have decluttered so much stuff over the last few years that looking around me, and please don't take the chaos going on behind me as evidence of what I'm about to say, but looking around me and around my space in general, it doesn't feel cluttered anymore. It doesn't feel like there's loads of stuff to declutter, but I imagine sort of tucked away in cupboards and wardrobes and things, there are things to declutter. And I also know I've got a huge stack of clothes that I need to get on Vinted, so I know I've got a starting point. If you've never heard of the 30-day minimalism game before, it was a challenge designed by the Minimalists to declutter items every single day for 30 days. On day 1 you declutter 1 item, on day 2 you declutter 2 items, on day 3 another 3 items, and so on until on day 30 you declutter another 30 items, and when you've finished it you will have decluttered 465 items in the 30 days from your space. And this is me, I rarely do things by the book. When I first did the game, I did it the proper way. The second time I did it all in one day, and this time I'm going to mix it up again and focus it this time more about being a challenge to earn money within that 30 days. So I'm going to get started today, and I don't mind if I find 5 days worth of stuff for the challenge today, or even 10 days worth of stuff. The 30-day time period is what I'm setting myself to see if I can sell any of the items I decluttered and earn a little bit of money from it. So in 30 days time, we will total up and see if I've earned any money. That might be through selling on Vinted, eBay, listing things on Facebook Marketplace, or if I manage it, even going to a car boot and selling things there. It's really just giving me a bit of a push because, quite frankly, I declutter stuff and then it kind of sits in my space until I can be bothered to do something with it. You join me in my bedroom by my wardrobe to start this challenge because I know this is full of items to declutter. Some of them are already listed to Vinted but have been sat there for a while, so maybe need updating and potentially reducing in price, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff I haven't uploaded yet. So I feel like if I can tackle this to begin with, that's a good first day, and I'll already have stuff listed so sales can start rolling in immediately from day 1. When I've done this challenge in the past, the first time I did it the correct way, in order starting at day 1. The second time I did it in reverse starting at day 30, because I think there's some sort of psychological thing there where when you've got lots to declutter and the items to declutter are easy to find, it feels easier to find 30 items and 29 items and 28 items at the start, rather than really trying to find a collection of 30 like random odd items at the end when you feel like you've already decluttered most of the stuff. I know it makes absolutely no difference because it's the same amount of things, but I think when you get to the end, if you're only like, oh, I've got 3 items to find today and 2 to find today and 1 to find today, that's a lot easier. I know it probably sounds ridiculous. Just to show you my Vinted account, I have withdrawn anything that was in there. So we are at 0 on day 1. So by the last day, day 30, anything that is in this account will show that we have made sales on Vinted during this 30-day period. I'm also going to post screenshots of my wardrobe with my reduced price items or any new items I upload. And when I say reduced items, I am thinking like £1 or £2 per item. I know that's not going to generate me a lot of money, but quite honestly, the things that are on there aren't selling at sort of £3, £4, £5, £6. So maybe I need to reduce the costs there. And it really does depend on how you look at things when you come to selling your used items, because you may think, well, this is worth £6 and I should get £6 for that, otherwise it's not worth it based on what I spent on it originally and what it's worth now, and so on and so forth. I used to think like that, and I used to think, well, I want good value back so that it doesn't seem like such a waste based on how much I spent in the first place. But if I've got stuff that's been sat in here and not selling for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, that's kind of making me think, would I now take £2 to get it out of my space? Because I'm not going to use it, so I'm not actually benefiting from waiting. I could have that £2, or I could have nothing if it's never going to sell at that price. So it is something to consider if you sell online or any other way in terms of your used items when you start to reduce prices and sort of balance up whether it's worth it. I think I've reached the point now where I will take £1 or £2 if it means it's gone and I've still got a little bit out of it. And maybe all those £1 and £2 added together will accumulate to something. So as I was saying, I will be putting screenshots of my Vinted wardrobe onto Facebook groups, specifically Vinted Facebook groups, just to promote it, because not always everyone is going to see your uploads and the algorithm might not push your listings out. So if you're in groups with thousands of people in and you say, you know, I'm selling everything for £1 or £2, people might go and check out your account. And there are people that buy to sell on. So there are people that may be okay spending £1 because they know they'll happily sit on it and wait on it and put the time into pushing it out to make sales, and they might sell it for £3 or £4. So they're selling it on for a profit. That sort of thing doesn't bother me. If someone else wants to spend the time doing that, that's absolutely fine. If I'm getting my little bit of money and getting that item out of my space, I'm happy. So hopefully by reducing the prices we'll generate some sales here.
Here we have the first 30 items, and another 29 items, and another 28 items.
And then we've got 27, 26 and 25 items of clothing. So I'm about to have a very busy time reducing these prices if they're already on Vinted or creating new listings if they're not. To wrap up day one, I took photos of as many things as I could to upload to Vinted before I lost the natural light. I tried to have as many of my listings as possible taken in natural daylight. I just think they look so much better. I have uploaded everything I have got photos for, and then I've been through and reduced the vast majority of my prices. So most of my items are £1 or £2 with a few exceptions. I'm going to wait until I've got this bulk of items uploaded, which I should be able to finish tomorrow, before I put a post out onto the Facebook groups, just to make sure that when people get to my page, when they first see that post on the Facebook groups, that when they get to my page they've got the full list of products and they're not going to be missing anything, because then, you know, there's a chance you could miss a sale you would have otherwise made. We're on to day 2 now, and I just thought I'd film this little segment before I crack on with doing the rest of the photos I needed to do yesterday, whilst I've still got a bit of daylight. So I found my next 24 items by actually having a declutter of my own wardrobe as it stands at the moment. So our 24 items are, I have these long sort of suede grey boots that I never reach for anymore. Then I have these black, slightly sort of gothic lace-up boots as well. These are so unworn that they are covered in dust, so I think that's a bit of a clue. So that's 2. A pair of grey suede wedges that I never reach for is 3. And some little black suede heels is 4. I think that might be all on shoes. Oh no, I tell a lie. More under here. My clunky black boots that I never wear anymore. This just isn't my style. It's time for these to go. That's 5. And a pair of silver heels is 6. I have 2 pairs of silver heels and I rarely wear them as it is, so I've just kept my favourite pair of the 2. I think that is more than enough. I've then got this rucksack, which I don't use, so that's, I've already lost count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 little white sort of small bags for going out, so that's 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 belts. I have a brown Ralph Lauren belt and a black Ralph Lauren belt, and they are the only belts I wear, and I would say that has been the case for at least since the summer of last year, and we are going into spring now. I don't think I need all of these belts because I don't reach for them. So what's that, 15 items altogether. I've then got an old Red Bull Racing cap. This is the Sebastian Vettel 2010 World Championship one. I did have 10, 11, 12 and 13. The others all sold already on Vinted. This one was already listed on there and that is still on there. I then have in here my yellow Michael Kors bag. I'm not sure quite how to go about selling that yet, but that is also going. And then I've got a long white satin shirt that I no longer wear, another white blouse, and then some of these might be familiar. I've got these two dresses. They're more like going out dresses, but they are a little bit too big for me now. So I have a bit of an idea with these, and it's something I've realised whilst selling stuff on Vinted, is that until it's actually sold, you've not really decluttered it. So when things don't sell, if I suddenly go, oh, actually, I could have done with wearing that, you can still wear it, you've still got it. So if these don't sell by the time I actually need a dress, I might consider trying to alter one. I have altered a dress, not well, but I have altered a dress before. So, you know, there is an option there, but I haven't worn them in about a year and a half now. So that probably says I'm not going to. Then I've got this one, which I probably have worn in the last year, but it's not my favourite. And then I've got this pink and black jumpsuit, which fits really nicely, but in the wash, the black has started to run into the pink. Looking at that, it doesn't look too bad, but in person, it's almost starting to grey a little. So that is that. So that is 24 items. So I can now start looking for things for day 23, as well as getting some of these items posted on Vinted. And just to give you an update, since I have been reducing prices and doing some uploads last night, I dropped off 4 parcels this morning on my way to work, and some of those were bundles. That was a total of 13 items. And then since then I've sold another 3 separate items. Most of those items were £1, so if I just look into my balance, so some of them would have been 2 then, so you can see balance pending is currently, I don't know if you can see that, it's currently at £20. So those, I'll get the other 3 posted tonight. I'll take a walk down the shop and send those. So game plan today, finish photos, get as much uploaded to Vinted as I possibly can, and if I do get everything on, I will then put that message in a Facebook group or 2. I'm probably members of like 3 of them now, and we will go from there. It is Wednesday the 20th of March, which makes today day 4. I've still got some bits and pieces to upload on Vinted. It's a very slow process, but I have been making sales each day and popping them down to the relevant places to get them posted. So I'll keep going with that. And then I've got right here 23, 22 and 21 items in the form of 54 Disney classic DVDs, plus an additional 11 DVDs that you can't see, just here, and then 1 board game that I would like to declutter as well. So that's good. That leaves me only 1 day in the 20s still to go. That will be 20 items. So we are sort of working through those bigger numbers. So we're off to a great start. I don't know if any of you remember when I tried to declutter my DVDs in the past, something just stopped me from doing it. And I can say with 100% certainty that I have not watched a single one of these Disney DVDs since I made that video saying I wasn't sure whether I was ready to let go of them. I don't actually have a DVD player that I can connect to my TV. My TV is nothing fancy. It is very rarely switched on. I don't watch television. And at the very most, I pop something on iPlayer or Netflix on my phone and walk around with it like as I'm doing chores or if I'm getting ready. I don't just sit down to watch anything. I never have time to do that. So the idea of me plugging in an external DVD player, finding a DVD, putting it on and sitting down to watch it is kind of ridiculous at this stage in the game. I do have a portable DVD player that I can connect to my computer or a laptop, but not my TV, because my TV, when I say it's old, it's really old. So that's that. Those are the next few days done. I'm not too sure about how to sell these because I think it's not something I necessarily want to sell online because they are a collection. I don't really know how you go about selling a collection. They are all the numbered ones, but over 2 different, I guess, generations. So there's 2 different numbering systems, which is kind of annoying. They changed it halfway through when I was doing my collection. So I don't know if it's best to do it on Marketplace or something and have someone physically come and pick them up rather than try to post them all and worry if they've got there okay. At least I know if they come and collect them, they are okay. So that remains to be seen, but I will see what I can do. This next little bit's going to go quickly because I've been having a clear out of all different rooms in my house. This is our 20 items, mostly from the kitchen and utility room. I was having a little chat with my mum and we are thinking of doing a car boot in the morning. So I had to get a move on with finding things to sell. These are my 19 items. They are all jumbled up. I'm not going to go through what each individual one is. For the most part, I think you can see them. But honestly, it really is just knickknacks and clutter. Then if we go over to these smaller piles, my friend gave me a whole bunch of cooking and baking stuff a few months ago when she had a clear out, and she said keep what you want and then just get rid of anything you don't. And so the next few piles are made up mostly of those, so lots of little bits. So here are my 18, loads of little bits in that tub. 17, these few are 16. These are actually quite cool, I just won't use them. You put them on top of your coffee to make different patterns. If you'd like sprinkle cocoa powder or something on top of a hot drink or like a hot chocolate. So they're quite cute, but I don't use them. And then here I've got 5 cushions, 2 Christmas stars, and then some reusable straws, a teeny tiny, what I assume is a rolling pin, although it could be made of wax, I'm not really sure, and a tin, and this is 15. So I want to get all this packed away, ready to do a car boot tomorrow, which I'm hoping to get some footage of, and then I could use the space in my living room to see if I can make any more little piles and carry on. And we just keep going. We've got 14, 13, a lot of those bits can go on Vinted, 12 bits here, 11 here, a little stack of 10 here, and we have got 9 here. So it's good to be down into the single digits, only a few more to go, and hoping for a successful day at the car boot tomorrow. Good morning, it is bright and early on Sunday, and it is day 8 today of my 30 days, and as I mentioned yesterday, we are looking to go and do a car boot. When I say we, that's me and my mum. It's a nice, clear March morning outside, and so we're looking forward to that, and all of the stuff is behind me. Let me just flip the camera around. This is everything we are taking with us. So it's not loads, it's not like a massive, massive car boot, but it is all of those items that I found yesterday that are more towards car boot selling than they would be putting on Vinted. So we'll see how it goes and I'll update you later. All I can say is that was one very windy field. Ignore the state of me. Oh, it was chilly. We probably put in just over 3 hours, and then we were feeling the chilly and we decided we wanted to come home, and we have brought back, I said I wanted to come back with nothing, but in all honesty, that was probably a bit unrealistic. I brought back 1 box, so I managed to get everything that's left over into 1 box, plus a couple of pictures that didn't sell either. I was generally selling things quite cheaply, like 50p a pound for an item, some even less than that. And altogether I made £53 after entrance fee. So that's not bad for a little morning's work. It means I've decluttered some stuff and I can put that to my grand total for the 30 days. And then I'm just going to pop this box of bits back in my wardrobe because it's not worth me doing another car boot with this many items to sell, because by the time you've paid your entrance fee, I probably wouldn't sell much more than that. So what I will do is I'll pop this away in my wardrobe, so it counts towards my declutter, but I don't anticipate this earning any more towards the total amount at the end of my 30 days. But I'll pop it back in my wardrobe, and then in the future when I've got a bit more stuff decluttered, I will be able to go and do another car boot. So it really just remains to be seen how I go, if I declutter any more stuff. It could be months, it could be a year. I haven't done a car boot for about a year. It seems that I end up doing one around this time every year, just about at the start of spring, and it's always freezing. But that was, I guess, an easy £53 to make on a Sunday morning. So I think I've managed to find all of the stuff, so let me flip you around and show you what I've got for the remainder of the days. So we have got 2 hats which can go on Vinted, 3 pairs of undies. You know when you've just got those uncomfortable ones that you literally never reach for because they're uncomfortable? Those, obviously not going to be able to sell those. Then I've got 3 of the rings from my jewellery video that I said I would declutter. I have done. Those are from Ana Luisa. I will list them on Vinted, but I will pop them on cheap because they aren't the best quality. Ignore the fact that my eyebrow pen exploded on my finger earlier. And just to go with those, I've not counted them as 3 extra items, but the little pouches that they go in, I can sell them with those. And then just this notebook set, which I'm classing as just 1 item. For day 8, I've got 4 sets of loungewear, all that are too big for me now, and they are all a top and a bottoms set. So I've got 2 black sets, this like grey set, and then this navy blue set, so they can all go. Then this one's a bit interesting because I'm going to try and put this on Marketplace and combine it all into one. So we have got 7 here, which is 3 full packs of clay. If you watched my video about hobbies, you will know that at some point in my life I decided to try clay, bought more than I needed, clearly didn't commit, and some clay tools to go with that. So that's 7, and then 6, 5, 4, and then I didn't have 3, I only had 2 little cutters left, but I do have this big thing of orange felt, which was another hobby I got into and didn't commit to, which was like sewing felt things. In fairness, I did make quite a few things before I just gave up and stopped, but even so. And actually I was quite good at that, so I don't know why I didn't carry it on, but I haven't got time to pursue that as well, and I do not need this much orange felt. So that's then 3 things. So all those clay bits I'm going to pop together and list on Marketplace. I think I could probably list this on Marketplace too. Somebody locally might need some crafting felt, so that exists. Day 2, I've got my 2 old suitcases that can now go because I have a 4-piece coordinated set, which was actually a Christmas present from my dad, which is really sweet. So I have got 2 suitcases here that I no longer use, and so I'm going to list those on Marketplace. And then last but not least, I have an old TV and its stand. It does still work, but it's not like HD or anything. There's only so much you can plug into it, so it may or may not sell, but I'll list it on Marketplace anyway. And so that is all 465 items found to be decluttered from my space, which I honestly thought would be so hard. To be fair, I was struggling at the end. If I hadn't come across that whole set of clay stuff, I'd have been really struggling. But we found the pieces. The job is now to get them out. Everything except the 3 pairs of undies, I think, are things we have got potential to be able to sell. At this point, I've already done the car boot, and there were things that sold and things that didn't. And as we know, there's stuff left over from that which I probably won't sell this time round. They're the sort of things that are car boot things, so you'd sell them for like £1 or 50p or even 20p. They're not the sort of things you list on Marketplace that someone's going to make the effort to come out and pick up. So we kind of have to accept that those items will be still here after the 30 days of this challenge, but we've at least made a start decluttering those. Literally everything else, with the exception of those 3 pairs of undies, I think can either go on Marketplace or go on Vinted. So all in all, we've got a good sort of run into this. Other than those 3, I've not really decluttered anything that's got to be trashed or is so low quality that I wouldn't even attempt to sell it in some form or another. So I guess the game is on now. The time is ticking. We've got our stuff to declutter. We've got our 465 items. The game is how much money can we make selling those items between now and 30 days. The date today is the 25th. We started on the 17th. So if 17th was day 1, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. It is day 9 today of the 30, but I'm out of the country for a week of these 30 days. So I'll have to turn off all my selling and I won't actually be here to do any of it. So I really timed this badly for having 30 days when I'm not actually going to be here for a whole chunk of it. So yeah, the race is on now. I want to get as much sold before I go on holiday. And then when I get back, I think we're down to the last 9-ish days of the challenge. So we'll see what happens. And this right here is the reality of my evenings, to be quite honest. So when it is daylight, I try to just get a few photos for Vinted, or today, for example, I did a few for Marketplace. This is my system. These are all the things I've not yet got photos for, so these have not been priority items. The reason for that will either be because they are newly decluttered, some of these were only put on the pile today, or with the case of like these big boots, I know I've not got anything that I can ship these in, so there's no point in me listing them to sell them for me to then delay a buyer because I haven't got a box. So I've got to find something that I'd be able to put these in before I list them. So I go through it in sort of a logical order, the ones that I think are going to be easiest for me to get out of my space. This is my pile where I've taken all the photos and they're just waiting for me to upload them, and I've been staggering that. Because when you upload something to Vinted, you will draw traction to your page, you might make a few sales, and that's great, but then you will notice it just quietens down if you're not regularly uploading. It's almost like social media. If people aren't getting any content, they aren't engaging with your page. It's exactly the same thing. People only seem to engage with your page and it only gets pushed out if you're uploading regularly. So I've been uploading anything from about 3 to 10 items per day, depending on how much time I've got, depending if I've got loads of things to do on my to-do list. Now, given that I'm going on holiday at the end of this week and I would like to shift as much as possible, I'm probably going to stick towards the higher end of that, uploading about 10 items a day. I'm going to try and sit and do 10 now and see how much we get sold out of that. But I am very aware that all of the things that don't sell before I go on holiday, when I switch that to holiday mode and then when I come back, there's going to be no traction, no activity going on my page, which is why I will need, even though I'll only have those 9 days when I get back, I will still need items to upload to draw the attention back to my page. And even then, more often than not, when you're uploading things, it is majority the new uploads that are selling. If you've got stuff that's been sat at the bottom of your page for ages and ages and ages, it's very unlikely that that's the item that sells. So I'm just going to go with this plan and see what happens. So this is kind of what my evenings look like, sat here in my pajamas just before I go to bed and uploading a few things to Vinted and going from there. We've made our first Marketplace sale today, which is Friday the 29th. It's Good Friday today. And a lady's just been by and bought one of my suitcases. I originally listed it a few days ago for 15 and it had absolutely no interest. She was the only person to be interested in it and she offered me 10, and I know that that's quite cheap for a suitcase, but to be quite honest, I just wanted it gone and I will take £10 rather than 0 for something that was sat in my space and not getting used. So we can add this to the collection. I've also taken all of my Vinted items out of view. I've put it on holiday mode today because with it being Easter weekend and not necessarily being able to get to places to send parcels, and then I'm leaving Sunday evening, I didn't want to end up having to cancel any orders. So I'm all done with Vinted now for just over a week, and then when I get back the pressure will be on to get the last few bits shifted. So we will see. It is Monday the 8th of April. I'm back from my holidays and so now it is the last 8 days to complete this challenge, and so it's really full steam ahead now. I've had quite a bit of interest in the items on Marketplace whilst I've been away, but obviously I've not been here to deal with that. So my job over the next couple of days is to see if any of the buyers are still interested. And then this is the pile of vintage stuff that I've still got left to upload. I'm going to increase my daily upload because I still want to be generating interest to my page every single day, so I don't want to do it all in one go, but because we're running out of time, I feel like I need to put more on each day to get it all on and hopefully get some last sales in. So we'll see how it goes. It is day 30, and so that means we've officially run out of time on this challenge. Question 1, did I sell everything? No. No, not even close. We saw that I still had a box of stuff come back from the car boot that I did initially. I sold half of the items I uploaded to Marketplace. I still have some listings live there, and there is still well over 100 items on my Vinted, but granted, a lot of that was also from before. So there is still plenty of opportunity to make money from this declutter, but I did limit myself to these 30 days. And so I think the question of the hour is, the question everybody's probably interested in, is how much money did I make in the 30 days selling the items from the decluttering challenge? To begin with, we made £53 at the car boot sale, which I've already mentioned. Beyond there, I made 3 sales on Marketplace, 1 for £10 and 2 for £5 each, so that was just £20. And then the biggest earner, as I'm sure we were all expecting, was from Vinted. And if I just show you, if you remember, I emptied my account of any funds so that now I can show you exactly what's in there and what I have earned over the last 30 days. So we have got 109 in available balance and 16 just pending, for a total of £125. If we add to that the 53 and the 20, that gives us a grand total of £198 for this particular challenge. Which, no, doesn't feel like an awful lot, but when I consider that the majority of the items I sold on Vinted were either £1, at most £2, there was nothing I sold for more than that. Items at the car boot, we were looking at 20p, 50p, £1 at most, really. And then we saw that the items I sold on Marketplace were £5 and £10. So the most expensive singular item was £10. Then 2 £5 items, and then everything else was like really, really low. So all in all, that probably amounts to quite a few sales. So just shy of £200 doing this challenge. The big learning point from this is, if I work at it and if I push myself and get a little bit out of my comfort zone, particularly with, you know, selling on Marketplace and having to talk to people in the real world, if you put the time and effort in, you can make yourself a little bit of extra money. If you've got stuff lying around that you want to declutter and you want to sell, yes, you absolutely can do it. I could have put more effort in if I had the time, but I do work full time and I am busy doing other things as well. So I basically gave as much time to this project as I could, as I was happy to, and it could have been better if I'd have done more, but I think I did an alright job. So that's it, let's wrap this one up. So essentially £200 in 30 days selling my decluttered items. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, you can do so by clicking this picture here, and if you're sticking around to watch another video, I will pop one just here that I think you might enjoy. Until next time, take care. Bye.